Alright guys, for this one you're going to get some narration, which I've had to record after the fact because of too much background noise, but Darkstar Records, they do a great job packaging everything. Look at all this. Everything is individually wrapped and well cushioned. They get new inventory in every Tuesday. And it came like immediately. 2 days tops. I was like, whoa. Okay, so first off, I had to have this, the Blob. Just a classic from my youth. This might be the only Criterion collection of anything that I own. I'm not sure. But I'm going to look forward to go through the special features. And it's only fitting I'm going to the Colonial Theater tomorrow. So look for a video about that. Find out what I got to see at the Colonial Theater. But it comes with a little booklet and a poster. I have fond memories of my dad explaining to me how they filmed this outside of Philadelphia and who Steve McQueen was and how he goes by Steven in the credits here. Of course, his character's name in the movie is Steve, which that cracked me up. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And let's take a look at the poster. A little bit worse for wear, but that's to be expected. I'm sure it'll flatten out nicely if I decide to frame it. And there's my thumb. Let's see what we got next. Can't wait to rewatch the Blob. Next we have, this is astonishing. This movie is actually called Maniac Killer. Okay, they left the C off, and it's consistent. Everywhere on the cover they spell it Maniac Killer, but apparently, doing some research, the title is actually Maniac Killer. Italian film from the director of Burial Ground, which isn't what, I don't know. That's just, that movie's whacked. So that doesn't really sell it for me, to be honest with you, but it has Chuck Connors, Bo Svensson, and Robert Ginty from the Exterminator film. So I'm curious about that. Let's see what else we got here. All right, yeah, this is a classic. I did a video about watching these films when I was a kid. Ray Harryhausen. It's amazing the way we call them Ray Harryhausen films. He was the special effects guy. They were all directed by different directors, but we call them Ray Harryhausen films. Jason and the Argonauts, of course. Classic. And then I was really happy to get these three films, High Plains Drifter, Joe Kidd, and Two Mules for Sister Sarah, on the same compilation. A lot of times when I buy these Clint Eastwood compilations, I get a lot of repeats. But that's not the case here. These are, two of them are at least are a little more obscure and very good. You got John Saxon and Robert Duvall and Joe Kidd, so that's worth watching there just for that. But, I'm building up my Clint Eastwood collection, as many of you noticed in my last video. And then we have a nice homage here to 50s giant bug movies, Eight-Legged Freaks. I think most people are aware of this one. David Arquette. Just tons of fun. Decent effects. I love the fact that there's different kinds of spiders. It's not just a tarantula or something. Then, classic series, season 1 of the X-Men. Cue the theme song music, which my older son's still a little afraid of, by the way. Don't tell him I told you that, but, it'll be great to go back and revisit some of these, especially season 1. And then, what do we have next? And next is a documentary that Jason from Horrific Nightmares JM told me about. We were discussing Hammer films in the comments of his videos, because along with Joe the Horror Man, they covered a different Hammer movie every day for the month of September, and he made me aware of this documentary. It's a little bit old now, but obviously it has Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, so they were both still with us, and it's called Flesh and Blood, the Hammer Heritage of Horror, so I'm sure it's going to have lots of film clips and behind-the-scenes facts, and I'm sure it's just going to be fascinating. I can listen to both of those guys speak all day about anything. Some pretty cool pictures in the back. There you see the one with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I think this was the last time they got together before Peter Cushing passed. You see he seems to be walking with a cane there, so perhaps this will be kind of a little bit sad in some ways. But I actually have 2 more documentaries coming. They're basically compilations of mini documentaries about films, some of which are Hammer films. So I'm always fascinated in the behind-the-scenes goings on in these films. And here's something that I just couldn't resist. This was a pretty decent price. I saw this, and they have new stuff that comes out every Tuesday, so I jumped on it. I said, "Wow, why not?" Um, my son and I did watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein in the beginning of the summer. That was one we wanted to check off the list. Here it is again, along with Meet the Mummy, which I have both of those. But look at the size of this thing. Great chest. I love the whole presentation here. Look at all the movies, like 30 something odd movies, I believe. But let's just take a quick look at some of the individual cases here. Oh, there's a booklet first. All the different posters and everything. I grew up at a time when it was very common to have an Abbott and Costello movie on during the weekend. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, absolutely one of my favorites. But I remember a lot of these. And that's what it looks like inside. Nice presentation, a lot of pictures. Some of these titles I actually don't remember, but I'm sure they'll come back to me. Hit the Ice. 3D goggles there on a horse. Or glasses on a horse, I don't remember that. There we have Frankenstein. Also Meets the Killer with Boris Karloff. Yeah, Karloff was in a couple. Let's see, Buck Privates Go Home. Yeah, that's a pretty well-known one. Lost in Alaska. There you go. Meet the Invisible Man. That'll be interesting. Wonder who plays the Invisible Man in that one. I'm not really sure. But obviously he did have a cameo at the end of Meets Frankenstein. And there's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and the Mummy. Whoops. Yeah, the Mummy. The Mummy's pretty good. Boy, they just seemed old in that, and they weren't actually that old. Little sad actually in places. To be quite honest with you, but the Mummy was pretty good. Looking forward to Jekyll and Hyde. You can do a whole list of comedy horror. I mean, you could probably make like 31 days of comedy horror, and several of them would be Abbott and Costello. Well, there's the whole haul, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.